I got back at childhood bullies by destroying an entire town. Pardon my English, it isn't my first language. I was browsing a thread about the Trenchcoat kid at school, and I realized that I was that kid. Years ago, I returned to my hometown and turned it upside down. I grew up in a conservative little town, heavily influenced by religion. In such an environment, moral purity and appearances were everything. Keeping up the facade was crucial. And anyone who strayed was judged harshly. Unfortunately, I was born into a difficult situation. You see, I was born to a mother who faced unimaginable hardships. After losing her parents, she was taken in by her uncle, a prominent figure in the local religious community. When he and his friends began abusing her, it was swept under the rug. When she became pregnant, the community labeled her as a harlot and cast her out. I was born out of wedlock, branded as an outcast from day one. My childhood was tough. By the time I started school, I was already damaged. The bullying I faced was relentless. Even the teachers, part of that same religious community, saw me as stained. It was like being the only black kid in a town run by the KKK. To cope, I became the Trenchcoat kid, intentionally acting weird and hostile to keep people at bay. I embraced the label of being damaged as a shield. Despite all the opposition, I managed to graduate with decent grades. My only decent relative, a distant aunt, helped me get into college in a real city. She saw herself in me, perhaps. Around this time, my mother succumbed to her struggles with alcohol. I can't blame her. She had a life insurance policy that helped fund my studies. City life liberated me. I went into therapy and began to heal the wounds that my hometown had inflicted. I left that town behind, but a part of it never truly left me. Years passed, and I became an analytical consultant for an international company. Sometimes I was called in to help with downsizing operations. A couple of years ago, I was assigned to assess 3 factories, one of which was in my hometown. My hometown was a classic, one smokestack town. Most people worked at the factory, and the economy revolved around it. The local religious community ran the factory, and promotions were based on holiness, not merit. Returning to my hometown felt surreal. Most people didn't recognize me at first. The chubby outcast had transformed into a corporate consultant. I inspected the paperwork, listened to their speeches, and audited the processes. As I dropped hints, they slowly realized who I was. The factory staff even threw a party for me, reminiscing about the past. Many of my old school friends were there. I brought up some of the bullying I endured, watching the atmosphere shift awkwardly. I laughed it off, but inside, I was filled with a simmering rage. I relished seeing their faces, knowing I would take everything away from them. They seemed relieved, thinking I would protect them. After my visit, I drove around town, reminiscing about my past. My state of mind was electrifying. I finally understood the allure of power. The rest, as they say, is history. I wrote a scathing report, documenting every flaw and mistake in the factory. I didn't need to lie. I simply highlighted the existing issues until they looked even worse. The factory was shut down, and over the next 3 years, the town crumbled. Businesses failed, drug and alcohol abuse surged, and lives fell apart. I still check in on them through social media, taking pleasure in how their lives have unraveled. I feel no remorse. If I could do it all again, I would. Only I'd want to be there to witness their reactions when they learned about the factory closure. In reality, I plan to return only once, when my uncle finally passes away. I'll be there to pay my respects in my own way.